So I recently ran into a Bitcoin maxi who was telling me that XRP is basically done for because Ripple is shifting its focus to stablecoins. He pointed out all these banks announcing their own stablecoins and argued that XRP is now obsolete. In this video, I want to dive into whether there's any truth to that and if we should actually be worried about banks creating their own liquidity tokens or stablecoins that could replace XRP. This is super important if you want to really understand the XRP ledger. So stick with me till the end. I promise it'll be worth it. We're diving into the utility of XRP. Let's take a moment to discuss something big happening in the market, something flying under the radar for most people. For years, XRP has been viewed as separate from being a store of value, but I've always felt this perspective was off. Here's the truth. XRP is absolutely a store of value, and it's time we start seeing it that way. While XRP might not grab the same flashy store of value headlines as Bitcoin, it's quietly proving its worth. With its deflationary supply, XRP stands tall as an asset capable of preserving value. Many in the XRP community have relied on it for years, storing value against the ever-declining USD. And here's the kicker. Since its inception, XRP's value has skyrocketed by hundreds of thousands of %. It's not just a store of value. It's a testament to resilience and growth. You're investing in a digital asset that isn't just inflation proof. It's deflationary, locked in stone with a capped supply. There will never be more XRP. This idea was recognized early on by XRP holders, even back when XRP was in its infancy. Cryptocurrencies as a whole are still new to the world, and XRP is just beginning to make waves in the global financial system. The vision of XRP as a store of value, once held by early adopters, is now catching the attention of major corporations. In recent weeks, we've seen a surge of corporate interest in XRP as a treasury asset, a tool for preserving value. Massive investments are flooding in: 500 million, 300 million, 121 million, 50 million, 10 million, 5 million. Large organizations and financial institutions are now aligning with XRP holders, recognizing its potential as a reliable store of value. A record number of ETFs are being launched for XRP, and while these aren't tied to its utility, they highlight something important. XRP is carving out its place as a store of value and an investment asset. Even if, hypothetically, XRP were to fail in terms of utility and never see adoption for its intended use cases, it's already proving its worth simply by being recognized as a store of value. Personally, I believe XRP's potential goes far beyond that. I see it thriving as a utility powerhouse in the financial sector, reshaping how value moves across borders. But this trend shows that XRP's success isn't pinned to just one avenue. Its adoption as a store of value is expanding, creating even more opportunities for growth. The pie keeps getting bigger, and XRP is poised to take a larger slice of the future financial landscape. Imagine XRP driving hundreds of trillions in liquidity for utility. Like, that alone is impressive. But add another 10 to 25 trillion for speculation and store of value. Now you're talking about a game changer with even more money flowing into the ecosystem. It's exciting to see XRP evolving and reshaping how people view it. Where Bitcoin shifted gears after struggling with utility, XRP is mastering both tracks simultaneously, utility and value, which is a huge win. This dual approach isn't just good, it's groundbreaking. People often overlook how monumental this is, but it's opening doors to entirely new use cases and opportunities many never imagined. And it's happening fast. Financial institutions are starting to see the potential too, especially with XRP's growing relevance in the US financial space. The narrative around XRP in the US is set to become incredibly powerful. We've already seen glimpses of it in early 2025, but it's only going to gain momentum. More and more people will start saying, wait a second, I want something American-based. XRP isn't just being used by major banking institutions, it has strong US roots. That connection could make it the go-to store of value, even over Bitcoin. This shift is something I believe we'll continue to see unfold, and it's worth highlighting. Not many people talk about XRP as a store of value, but I'd argue it could actually surpass Bitcoin in that role. With that thought in mind, I also want to dive into its utility and explore some of the emerging narratives that are just as exciting. Some folks argue that XRP won't be used. They say banks will rely solely on stablecoins like RLUSD, Circle's USDC, or their own in-house stablecoins. They imagine banks launching shiny new networks and everyone ditching XRP in favor of these systems. But the truth is, those claims usually come from people who don't fully understand how XRP was designed. Let's break it down with the payment stack as it stands today. At the top, you've got your familiar online banking apps. Below that, the banks themselves. But here's the twist. Banks aren't doing much settlement work. They're mostly focused on messaging. The real action happens behind the scenes, governed by the rules of settlement. Beneath that layer lies ACH, working quietly to clear and settle payments. ACH and the Interbank Communication Network for wires and cross-border payments are barely holding together. Think of a patchwork of outdated systems duct taped at the seams. Behind the scenes, it's just people shuffling money around manually on a clunky, broken infrastructure. There's no real settlement network powered by modern technology to make transactions seamless or efficient. Banking today is a tangled web of debits, credits, and endless money shuffling. It's a logistical nightmare of who owes who, made worse by outdated systems where messaging and payment infrastructure are completely disconnected. The systems handling communication are separate from those actually moving money, creating inefficiencies and delays. Enter XRP, a game changer. XRP flips the script by uniting settlement, messaging, and the exchange of both information and value into one seamless process. This isn't just a tweak, it's a revolutionary new settlement network, a cutting-edge infrastructure for transferring value. Some think major players, banks, tech giants like Apple or Amazon, or even financial powerhouses like JP Morgan will simply create their own solutions to compete. But here's the thing, all those systems still end up relying on the XRP ledger as the backbone for liquidity and seamless routing. XRP and Ripple act as the backbone of settlement infrastructure, seamlessly connecting various players who tap into the best system for moving value across borders. Yet many people misunderstand how the system truly operates, seeing it as something it's not. The idea that Bank of America launching a stablecoin would replace XRP misses the bigger picture. Bank of America isn't trying to revolutionize global settlements. They lack the tech expertise, the network effects, and the infrastructure to create an entirely new system. And even if they did, who would adopt it? JP Morgan certainly wouldn't jump on board with Bank of America's solution. They just build their own. But if every bank builds its own settlement system, you end up with the same fragmented mess we have today. That's where XRP stands apart. It's a neutral public utility, a global remittance protocol that anyone can use with fair and universal rules. It's not about competition, it's about connection. Instead of relying on a single king to rule, imagine a system where everyone agrees there's no king at all. Instead, they use public, decentralized networks to transfer value. That's basically how the internet works today. If one company owned the internet, no one would want to use it. What makes it so powerful is its neutrality. It's public, open, and connects you to the entire world in an instant. Ripple aims to position XRP and the XRP ledger in that same role, a neutral, universal settlement tool, but that vision only works if everyone connects to the same system. Having isolated individual systems just wouldn't cut it. Everyone's vying to join a neutral system, connecting their own instance to a shared settlement network. Yet Bitcoin maxis and critics, claiming XRP has no real use, clearly don't understand how this system is built. Corporations, governments, individuals, they all sit atop the financial rails, and they'll always choose the fastest, most liquid, and most efficient option. That's exactly where Ripple is positioning XRP, at the forefront of the future of seamless global transactions. XRP plays a vital role in transforming how value moves. Think of the XRP ledger as a decentralized clearinghouse, a powerful platform connecting everything seamlessly. It's an open, neutral settlement infrastructure that anyone can access, enabling decentralized exchanges where users can trade anything they want. With XRP, you're replacing outdated, clunky systems full of fees, intermediaries, and inefficiencies with sleek, efficient, and decentralized technology. Imagine cutting through the chaos of legacy systems and unlocking a future where trillions of dollars flow effortlessly through a modern, interconnected ecosystem. In this new system, this fresh paradigm we've built, where the middlemen are finally out of the picture, there's still one crucial piece: a neutral asset at the center. You need something versatile, something that can seamlessly connect everything. It has to handle massive transaction volumes effortlessly, acting as the bridge for anything and everything on the system. That's exactly what XRP is. It's the glue, the neutral liquidity that powers the entire system. It's the force that makes this decentralized exchange and cutting-edge clearinghouse work exactly as it was meant to: fast, efficient, and limitless. XRP is the glue holding the system together. Imagine 55 banks each issuing their own stablecoin. Sounds chaotic, right? They still need a bridge to connect the dots. How do they move value between stablecoins? How do they exchange debt, adjust credit spreads, or manage derivative exposure without a logistical nightmare? That's where XRP steps in. Think of it as the universal translator in a world of financial languages. Instead of hunting down liquidity pairs for every obscure transaction, banks can rely on XRP as a neutral, efficient liquidity hub. It's fast, seamless, and simplifies the complex web of financial interactions. Imagine this. Bank of America wants to work with JP Morgan to make a swap happen. Instead of jumping through hoops to set up a complicated, specialized agreement, they use a neutral counterparty asset like XRP. Simple, right? By doing this, they tap into decentralized infrastructure and liquidity, eliminating counterparty risk while seamlessly working with their partners. Here's the game changer. This system is open, accessible, and permissionless. Nobody needs approval to join or use it. It's like building a website. You don't need anyone's permission to get started or scrolling through Facebook. You just dive in and explore. And that's the beauty of decentralized systems. They're designed to empower, simplify, and connect, giving everyone the tools to plug in and innovate without boundaries. Well, kind of. Like you do, but let's be real. Companies are already there. You get the idea, right? You post something and boom, the internet's network effect kicks in. It's out there for everyone to see. That's the direction we're heading toward with the movement of value. This is like exactly what Ripple is building at its core, a groundbreaking infrastructure layer. Once you grasp this, you'll see why XRP is such a game changer. It's not just another tool, it's a utility with the potential to benefit the entire system. Why replace something that's designed to make life easier for everyone? The real key is creating the ultimate mousetrap, the best system. Build that and people will naturally plug into it because it just makes sense. It solves all the current issues without handing power to anyone else. No single entity can control the new system, as that would mean taking all the authority. And let's face it, no one wants to use a system where they hold all the power, nor would they join one where they have none. The XRP ledger strikes the perfect balance. It's a system built for fairness, and within it, XRP acts as the ultimate liquidity solution. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this update insightful. Stay tuned for more.